Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive legal collision that is happening right now, deep inside the digital infrastructure that powers global business. We're looking at a fundamental, absolute clash between two major legal systems, the US and the EU. And let me tell you, the fallout from this isn't just academic theory, it's actively rewriting the rules of data sovereignty as we know it. So imagine being trapped in an impossible legal paradox, a situation where obeying one jurisdiction's law automatically makes you a violator of another's. You comply with Law A, well, you get penalized under Law B. You comply with Law B, now you're facing aggressive sanctions under Law A. This isn't some weird brain teaser from a law school exam. This is the exact, frankly absurd situation facing thousands of organizations and their legal teams today.
And this nightmare is a looming reality for a massive reason. To put this into perspective, nearly 70% of the European cloud market is controlled by just three US headquartered tech giants, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. That kind of massive market share means a huge portion of European data is sitting squarely right on the fault line of this legal earthquake.
Okay, let's make this tangible. Imagine you're the compliance officer for an EU-based company. You've done everything right, you know? Your data sits safely in a localized, highly secure EU data center. However, you use a US headquartered cloud provider to run things. Then, out of nowhere, that provider gets a US Cloud Act subpoena demanding access to your data. What exactly happens next?
Well, you are now caught in what legal experts call the double bind. The U.S. Cloud Act, which was passed in 2018, demands the data be produced simply because the provider is an American entity. It completely ignores the fact that the server is physically sitting in Europe. On the flip side, European legal frameworks strictly forbid handing that data over to a foreign government without a proper international agreement. Comply with the U.S., violate Europe. Refuse the U.S., and you're facing American legal consequences.
Now, I want to clear up a common misconception right away. A lot of people frantically search for an EU Cloud Act, trying to find Europe's direct countermeasure to the US law. But that single law doesn't actually exist. Instead, the real European legal shield relies on two distinct instruments, the EU Data Act, which covers non-personal data, and the GDPR, which protects personal data. Together, they form this massive wall against unilateral US access. So let's look at exactly how the GDPR complicates this direct data transfer. If your US provider decides to just hand over your personal data to comply with the American subpoena, they're going to hit a massive roadblock. Article 48 of the GDPR. As the European Commission explicitly states, a foreign court order is not enough to justify a data transfer. Simply put, you literally cannot use a US judge's signature as some sort of magic wand to lawfully ship European personal data overseas. Normally, cross-border evidence sharing is supposed to happen through mutual legal assistance treaties, or MLATs, formal government-to-government agreements. But these traditional channels are notoriously slow. The primary objective of the U.S. Cloud Act was to create a fast lane for U.S. law enforcement to bypass those MLATs entirely. They go directly to the provider instead of going through diplomatic channels, leaving our hypothetical EU company completely stranded in the middle of a sovereign tug-of-war. Desperate times, right? So desperate for a way out, some legal teams look to the concept of legitimate interest as a loophole to justify the transfer. They argue, hey, avoiding crippling U.S. sanctions is a legitimate interest for our company. But the European Data Protection Board warns that this is practically an impossible balancing act. You simply cannot validly balance a company's financial fear of American fines against an EU citizen's fundamental right to data protection and effective legal remedy. The individual's rights override the company's corporate interest every single time. So, if a provider actually tries to legally process a direct U.S. data request without that MLIT, they have to navigate a grueling two-step legal obstacle course. First, establishing a lawful basis for processing the data under Article 6 of the GDPR. Second, meeting the incredibly high threshold for strict transfer derogations under Article 49. And, spoiler alert, in almost every standard business case, Cloud Act requests fail this test entirely.
Actually, scratch that. There is one highly specific exception during that strict legal test: processing for vital interests. If the U.S. subpoena involves an extreme, imminent life or death situation, think of an active investigation into an abducted minor, this vital interest can justify sharing the data without waiting for an MLAT. But make no mistake, this is exceptionally narrow. It absolutely does not apply to routine corporate investigations, financial fraud, or your standard legal disputes.
Outside of those rare life and death exceptions, The geopolitical risk of relying on U.S. infrastructure is just immense. And this isn't just a theoretical debate for academics. In mid-2025, International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan reportedly lost access to his Microsoft-hosted email after a U.S. executive order sanctioned him. We've also seen major sovereign data alarms when U.S. companies acquired Dutch providers like Solvinity and Ziver, providers holding highly sensitive health and government data. Suddenly, all that data is completely exposed to U.S. extraterritorial reach. And this perfectly illustrates the terrifying reality of the double bind. Because ultimately, jurisdiction follows the provider. It literally does not matter if your server is bolted to the floor in a highly secure facility in Germany or the Netherlands. If the parent company on your contract is headquartered in the United States, U.S. law attaches to your data. Because of this, if you run a proper GDPR Data Protection Impact Assessment, a DPIA, it acts like a giant spotlight on a Trojan horse. You are forced to document that your U.S. cloud provider might be legally compelled to betray your privacy promises. A proper assessment will document U.S. Cloud Act extraterritorial access as a significant structural risk to EU data subjects that absolutely requires serious safeguards. Okay, so how do we actually get out of this? Well, you can't just sign a piece of paper where the U.S. provider promises not to look. That doesn't magically override federal U.S. law. The only real resolution here is an architectural fix. You need single-tenant European deployments. But more importantly, you need customer-controlled encryption, where the keys are held exclusively by you, right in the EU, backed by immutable audit trails. Now, this is a real game changer. This strategy fundamentally shifts data sovereignty from a flimsy legal promise to a hard mathematical technical reality. Think about it. If the U.S. provider does not possess your encryption keys, they're technically incapable of complying with a U.S. decryption demand. They can hand over the encrypted file, sure, but it's useless gibberish. You satisfy the U.S. law because the provider gave everything they had, and you satisfy the EU law because the actual readable data was never disclosed. The good news? The European Union completely recognizes this architectural necessity and is actively helping companies migrate to safer setups. Under the new EU Data Act, commercial barriers are being actively dismantled. Providers are now mandated to facilitate customer switching on just 2 months' notice. And by January 2027, all cloud switching fees will be entirely eliminated. So what should your organization do right now to break free from this compliance double bind? First, conduct a systematic inventory of all your data flowing into U.S. cloud services, and definitely don't forget the hidden ones running through third-party integrations. Second, intelligently segregate your highly sensitive personal data. And finally, begin developing a separate, auditable European infrastructure for that critical data where you control the keys. Which brings us to the ultimate question you need to ask your IT and legal teams tomorrow morning. Don't ask them where your servers are located, ask them this. Whose jurisdiction does your organization's data actually fall under today? The answer might force you to rethink your entire digital foundation. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. See you next time.